I've been stalking the Angels the last couple days to try to get Phil Nevin on. And I basically just finally said, tell Phil I got a lot of dirt on him from the years that he played sports. I mean, the years he was playing in baseball. I know where it is. I know the body's Phil Nevin. You had to call in, didn't you?
It's been a while, Suzy. How are you?
I said I have a lot of good stories, but they're not for the air. And but we had fun when you were playing, you and Johnby and all those guys. It was good to have you back on. I appreciate it.
It's great to hear from you. When our PR guy called me this morning, he said, "Hey, Rich Eisen Show wants you to come on." I go, "I know his wife very well." He goes, "Actually, with her." I'm like, "Oh, done." Let's go.
Exactly. I had to have you back on. How are you doing, Phil? It's great to talk to you. It's been a while.
I'm doing all right. We had a rough one last night, but back at it today. We're still in the thick of this thing and everything right in front of us. Like I said, last night was a rough one. We got to rinse it off and get back out there today. Our Carlos Estevez has been the best closer, one of the best closers in the game. I think he's the only one that hasn't blown a save yet. And tonight, just the numbers caught up to him last night, and but he'll be back out there tonight in the same situation.
Phil, I have to ask you what everybody wants to know. What is it like managing Ohtani?
I never get that question. That's weird.
I like to be the only one to ask questions like that. I know you've never heard it before.
There's a lot to it. I mean, first off, it's certainly a pleasure to have him on your team. The talent, as you guys all see, the things that nobody else gets to see, though, are the personality, the type of person he is, the work ethic. And I've said this many times, he has an agenda from the time he wakes up till the time he goes to bed, and actually everything in between that, with his sleep schedule is part of it too. But his agenda is being the best player in the world. Obviously, it's working, but he does not do anything or put anything in his body, and everything he does throughout the day is calculated for him to be the best. And it's not money-driven. It's driven because he wants to win, and that is the best quality I think you can be in a teammate. I happen to have two great players like that, and he and Mike Trout, and we'll get Mike back here pretty soon. But when your two best players are two of the best people in the room, they live and die just to win baseball games and want to be on that stage at the end of it. Makes my job a heck of a lot easier. Guys just kind of fall in line. They're leaders by example. If you notice, they always lead the league. They're both in the top five. This is nothing that anybody talks about, but in times to first base, which tells you they hit a comebacker to the mound or they hit a ground ball to second base. They're busting it down the line, except when days when Shohei pitches. But just examples that set that they're leaders. They want to win. Guys follow them. It's pretty awesome to be around.
Well, you mentioned Trout, so I might as well get this out of the way. When are we going to see him back?
Well, he started swinging a bat a couple days ago. Yesterday, actually, the progression with this is dry swings without hitting the ball. Because when you start hitting the ball and that the vibration through the bat, that's what kind of affects the hand. It's more of a pain tolerance thing with this surgery, but he's right on schedule to be at the front end of what they all talk about the rehab is for this. And I know he's been working hard on his body. To give it a timetable, I think once it starts feeling good and he can let it go, it would not be long, within a week or so after when he actually starts taking batting practice, which I think will happen in a couple days.
Make sure you give me a heads up so I can be the one to break the news, okay? Old habits die hard,
You got it.
Buster Olney was on with Rich, and he told a story about you talking to Shohei at Yankee Stadium and referring back to your days as the third base coach, asking where Stanton and Judge put the ball. Can you tell us that story, please?
Yeah, he doesn't take batting practice on the field too often. And this particular day, he walks out, and I looked at him at the cage, and I said, "What are you doing out here?" And he goes, "I need to remember what it's like to hit a home run." And looking back, he had gone probably 4 or 5 days without a home run. He took his first round in the cage, and he walked out, and he said, he asked me where Stanton and Judge would hit home runs during batting practice. And I told him, right above that little restaurant was some of the farthest ones I've seen where the cameras are. And his second round, he proceeded to hit them, well over where the cameras were, well over the restaurant. And this is to the opposite field a little bit. That's just him being him. He can put on a display during batting practice like nobody I've ever seen. obviously watched Judge and Stanton hit them for 4 years, and boy, they can hit them a long way for sure. This is just a different sound. It's a different look, which we've said about those other two guys for a long time. I mean, they still hit them. You're in awe when you watch them hit Judge and Stanton hit home runs in batting practice. But we used to go out and watch like McGuire take BP and Sammy Sosa. But this, what you're watching here, if you ever get a chance to do that, it's like nothing you've ever seen.
Are you inviting me down to watch a game? Is that what you just did here?
Come on out. Bring Rich, bring the kids, bring them all. Yeah, we'll have a great time.
By the way, I'll be there next week. Who are you kidding? I actually haven't been to Anaheim since the World Series, so I feel like I have to get back down there. When you watch a guy like Ohtani, though, go out and you're concerned because he says his finger hurts and he's going to come out, he's not going to pitch, you got to call a guy in a couple innings early, and he goes out and hits a home run. I mean, when does this doesn't happen. It's just magic down there with him.
Yeah, I mean, last week, he had the long day. He threw the complete game he threw a shutout against Detroit in game one of a doubleheader, and everybody's heard about this. Game two, he hit the 2 home runs. He kind of cramped up the next day. This was more his like lower legs and stuff in Toronto. We talked about getting a day off. He refused. He knew his body was fine and ready to go. And then last night, nothing in the arm, nothing in the elbow or shoulder. This was just his hand, and the middle finger just kept like kind of curling down to his palm, and he couldn't get it to straighten out. It was a cramp situation, and he pitched with it the inning before, and I was looking up at the board. You saw a fastball at 90, and you see really slow breaking balls. I think it was a 5-pitch inning. He got through it, then just came in and said, if this doesn't get better, I'm not going to be able to pitch anymore. And sure enough, it did not. He actually hit that inning, was able to wrap the finger around the bat, but just wasn't able to get a grip on the ball, so I had to take him out of the game, which threw 4 good innings, and our bullpen did a great job. It's just, missing Shohei out there and that the length that he can give you sometimes. Certainly, it wasn't the reason we lost the game by any means, but he certainly contributed his side on the offensive side to help us win it. We just didn't get it done at the end.
How do you get him to stay, Phil?
I don't really think about that right now. I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but we're worried about today. When the winter comes, I think we have a great relationship, and if he asks me for advice, I'll give it to him on certain places or anything like that. I mean, I'd love to have him back, obviously. I think anybody would. There's going to be a lot of teams in the running for this deal, but, we really don't think about it now, and it doesn't invade our clubhouse. That's something that's a strength of ours. It's certainly talked about a lot through the media and everything, through me. He fields his questions every now and again, but he gives the same answer. And it's true. I know it, like I said, it sounds cliche, but he's focused on today and winning today, wants to win here. Certainly think if we do win here and get to, and show that we can win, I mean, that might make a difference at the end of the day. But, right now, like I said, we're worried about this season.
How long did it take to get used to baseball's new rules?
It's a good question. This winter, when everything was put in, just like in the past, you kind of go, whoa, what are we doing here, and how's this going to work? And went back to like the 3-batter rule in the bullpen. You go back to other changes we've made, losing the DH and all that, and it's just baseball. You end up playing baseball. I think the clock is something that you still see violations once in a while. It's rare. It sped up the game, but really the adjustment for the players, it took part of a spring training. You get in the box and you hit. You get on the mound and you pitch, and infielders stay on the dirt. You don't go past second base. It's just what the rules are, and they've become normal now. Talking to some of the minor league managers before this season, we're like, well, I kind of was trying to get versed on how this is going to affect us, and they said, Nev, within a few days of spring training and you're watching this, it's going to be normal. And sure enough, when the season started, you had your hiccups right away for the first few days of the season, but all in all, we've made adjustments to that, and to me, it's like it's the way it's always been. It's normal. The games are going quicker. When we lose, I just have more time at night to have to think about it, and when we win, you get more time to enjoy it. So that's all.
What would you think about robo-umps behind home plate? For it, against it, ridiculous, not ridiculous?
No, I'm not. I'm not for it. I mean, and I've had some incidences this year where we felt like we didn't get a call because it went our way, and part of that is protecting my players. But I enjoy the interactions with the umpires, good and bad. I think they do a heck of a job. It's an extremely difficult job. Now, one thing that I would say that I think is working is in AAA, they have the challenge system where it goes right upstairs, and then they can tell if it's a ball or a strike, and each team or player or whatever gets X amount of challenges through the game, and it goes quickly. Like my son's playing in AAA right now, and I'm watching it work, and it's about getting the call right. You don't want a call that was missed. They're human late in the game that's going to affect the game, and those are the ones where you sit and say, all right, maybe if we had some sort of system to replay it or something like that, because they're going to make mistakes. It's a very difficult job, and we all understand that. But you just wanted to get it right at the end, and I don't want the robo-ump, but I would say that maybe the challenge system, if we can perfect it like we have the other things in our game, might be beneficial.
So what's it going to take to get into the wild card, Phil?
Say it one more time.
Wild card. What's it going to take to get there?
Well, we got to win. I mean, I know that's an easy answer to say, but getting healthy. The quicker we can get healthy, the quicker we can, get everybody together and find our identity once we get everyone back. And it's going to take getting on a roll, absolutely. I mean, we're certainly within striking distance. If we get hot, the teams that are in front of us are all teams we play. So obviously the ones in our division, we're not really counting that out either, but, we've obviously dug a big hole there. With the wild card, we got a few teams in front of us. We certainly got to go on a run and win some games. I'm not putting a number on how many we need to win, but we've done it before. There's teams all over this league that have gone on 8 to 10 game winning streaks, and you find yourself right back in, just like we did. About a month ago, we were in a wild card spot, and we had a rough about week and a half after losing 4 or 5 guys all within a matter of a couple days, and I think we had a 1-11 stretch or something like that, and kind of knocked us into a hole. But we've climbed back out of it, so to speak, a little bit. We're within striking distance, like I said, but we got to play. We got to play better. We got to get our guys back healthy, and then obviously go on a little bit of a run.
Yeah, you must want to pinch yourself when you have Ohtani out there and Trout. You must be looking at the field thinking, God, I have the greatest job of all time.
Well, I know I'm lucky in this situation I'm in. People talk about, is it worth it? It's the time I spend in the minor leagues and things like that. To me, it wasn't a grind. I loved every minute of it. But looking back now, of course it was worth it. I'm in a position that not a lot of first-year managers get. You're usually taking over a team that's really in a struggle mode or a rebuild mode. You don't inherit the 2 best players in the world. You don't get to choose, some of your coaching staff, which I've been able to do through the trust of the front office, and that is also included in there. My relationship with Perry and the front office is great. We're on the same page. We communicate. It's one of the things that I think all of us know is an important factor in a successful organization, and everybody wants to win. That's just the key to it. So I'm lucky to be in the position I am. The grind, as everyone has said, was totally worth it. I'm home. I get to see my grandbaby all the time, which I have one now. So
I can't believe that. You are old.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
She's the best thing ever. Your own kids are one thing, but being able to be around your grandbabies, that's as everyone told me. I was like, right, I can't, but it is. She's just the best thing ever. So.
Oh, that is so great. Well, I can't wait to see pictures. I actually remember now, I think Rich is coming down to Anaheim on Monday. I'm going to take one of our kids to Taylor Swift. Our son Xander's going to Taylor Swift. And Rich is coming down with our 12-year-old lefty pitcher. I'm just saying he throws over the top. You might want to take a look at Coop Eisen. But I think Rich is coming down on Monday, but I'm going to hit you up to come down. I'd love to come down and relive a little bit of fun times we had down there.
Absolutely. Get a hold of me anytime.
I'd love it. Thanks for making the time for me. Appreciate it, Phil.
All right, Suzy. Thank you.
That's Phil Nevin, the Angels manager, right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
That's great. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.